The day Ethan's first love returned, I dropped everything and fled. Half a month later, he stormed in with divorce papers, his eyes bloodshot with rage. Who said you were a replacement? If anyone's a replacement, it's her. She replaced you. That day, I was helping him organize documents, something I shouldn't even have been doing. This guy never prepared anything in advance. Only when it was urgent did he remember I existed. I had clearly told him I was off today. Yet, before work hours even started, he yanked me out of bed, stuffed me into his car, and sped straight to the company, dumped a pile of tasks on my desk, then disappeared. I thought he had some multi-million-dollar deal to handle. I was even about to praise his dedication, until I found out what that jerk was really doing. He was rushing to pick up his first love. I stealthily approached a colleague to eavesdrop. Even I, his personal secretary, knew nothing about this. How could they? A friend of mine just saw CEO Ethan at the airport. My breath hitched. I showed her his photos before, so she recognized him instantly. Why was I showing Ethan's photo to others? I didn't explain. She handed me her phone, zooming in on the picture like I was some kind of blind fool. I wasn't blind. I just hadn't wanted to see the truth. The office rumor mill was already buzzing. Some people think a little beauty lets them climb into the boss's bed, not knowing he already has his first love. A snide voice. Linda. At best, they're just a stain on the wall. Let's see how long she stays smug. I didn't react. Linda stomped off in her 8-inch heels, satisfied with herself. I just massaged my neck. Numb. The company knew Linda and I didn't get along. But today? Today was different. Because the person in that photo, if I recalled correctly, she was Ethan's secret college crush. Grace. Beautiful. Innocent. The kind of woman Ethan would never forget. And yet, he had married someone completely opposite her. Me. I had secretly married Ethan. I knew he only did it because of family pressure. But I wasn't exactly struggling financially either. Who would refuse more? So I accepted his terms. Took my household registration from my mother's house. Registered our marriage. Just like that, my secret married life with CEO Ethan began. Over a year passed. Somehow, our cohabitation gradually harmonized, including in bed. But now that Grace was back, I was momentarily at a loss. Not because I still clung to Ethan. If he threw a $5 million card in my face, I'd sign the divorce papers without hesitation. But clearly, Ethan wasn't that foolish. From the moment we married in haste, he had calculated every single penny of my living expenses. Paid monthly. Even more punctual than payday. A businessman through and through. Are you leaving? Linda's voice pulled me back. She had already packed up. I was still dazed. Only then did I realize it was quitting time. Company rule. No free work. Not even for a minute. Downstairs, my phone vibrated. A text. Ethan. Ethan. I won't be home for dinner tonight. You can leave early. So eager to be with his first love, huh? I typed back emotionlessly. Got it, CEO Ethan. Then I shut off my work phone. Switched to my personal one. Me sis, let's party tonight. The fake husband isn't coming home. Messages exploded. Time and place set. I went home. Changed into my heels. Stepped out. At the bar, my friends gathered around. Why isn't he coming home tonight? I took a sip of wine. Leaned on a friend. His first love is back. Why would he care about me, the replacement? The night was fun. Until I got home. I froze. Ethan was standing there. Wasn't he supposed to be in her warm embrace? I leaned in the doorway, half awake, half confused. Why are you back? Ethan rolled up his sleeves. He stepped toward me. My legs trembled. He knelt in front of me. Started changing my shoes. If I hadn't seen the photo of him and Grace today, I might have been fooled by this tenderness. This is my house. Why can't I come back? I opened my mouth but couldn't speak. The next second, he dragged me into the bathroom. Damn it. I forgot he hates when I go out drinking. I stepped out later, rubbing my waist. Bowing. This time I will divorce him. Let Grace serve him instead. This annoying guy. Ethan lied beside me, rubbing my waist. His voice was low. Will you go out again? Inside I was seething. What can you do to me? But I replied softly, no. I won't. Ethan smiled faintly, pulled me closer. The next morning I arrived at the office. Rumors were already flying. A new transfer. Glancing at the resume, it wasn't a newcomer. It was her. His ex. I tossed the documents on my desk, drafted my resignation, printed the divorce papers, signed them. Then I marched into Ethan's office, only to find him gone, probably chasing Grace again. Not that it mattered. I wasn't asking permission. I threw the papers on his desk. Linda watched me pack up, eyes filled with curiosity. Where are you going? I winked, smiled. I'm quitting to enjoy life. You can keep being a lowly employee here. Ignoring her reaction, I walked tall into the elevator. A beautiful new life awaited me. At Ethan's villa I took one last look. I couldn't deny it had been home for a year. But escaping this temperamental boss felt far more joyful. I dragged out 2 large suitcases, surveyed the house. Cheap stuff stays. Valuables go. After all, Ethan once said everything he bought me was mine. Now that I was leaving, I was taking it all. I barely managed to close the suitcases. No one would care about the old one now. Zoe, don't cry over men. I only cry over money. And I wasn't losing a damn thing. Fear if I known I'd rather have gone to the police station earlier, at least it be safer than being with Ethan right now. The car stops in the basement. Without a word he exits, rounds to my side, yanks the door open and pulls me out. Then he slams the door shut. Bang. The quiet garage echoes with the deafening sound, sending chills down my spine. Ethan drags me upstairs. The maid hears the commotion and steps out, but before she can see what's happening, he pulls me straight to the master bedroom, pushing me inside. Before I can react, he pins me to the set. As I try to dodge, he grabs my ankle, pulling me back down. Where are you hiding from? When you snuck out to drink, when you moved out behind my back, didn't you feel guilty at all? I'm stunned, truly not understanding what he's angry about. Could he have been humiliated by Grace and is taking it out on me? How could I endure this? Where does he get the strength? Suddenly I flip over, pinning him down, straddling him, looking down at him. Were you driven away by Grace? Face and came to me out of anger. Seeing his pitiful expression, I really want to slap him, but thinking we're still not divorced and assets aren't settled, I hold back. After hearing this, his rage subsides, though his brows remain furrowed. No longer crazed. How did you know about Grace? I thought you were good at hiding. If you really wanted to, don't rush to bring her into the company like that. I know more than that. That day you dragged me to the company to do documents was actually to free yourself, to pick up his first love. Also, when we married, you didn't give me any good position, saying to keep work and personal life separate. But when you met Grace, you generously gave her a high position. I grit my teeth. Don't be unreasonable. That's not true. He tries to speak but can't form a sentence. Silence is admission. I don't want to hear more. In my heart, Ethan is already convicted. I roll off the bed, put on my shoes, and ignore his reaction. All the papers are on your desk. Let me know when you're done. I pull the door shut and head downstairs. It's late now. After being harassed by Ethan, I don't know if I can still get a cab. The maid speaks up. Madam, why not stay the night? I purse my lips, shake my head. No need. I'll have someone pick me up. Before she can say more, I stride out the door, though feeling his gaze on my back. I keep my spine straight, never turning around. Reaching the main gate, I see Ethan's personal secretary. Now this is a real secretary, Mrs. CEO. Ethan asked me to take you home. Hailing a cab at this hour isn't easy, though I don't want more entanglements with Ethan. I won't let myself be wrong, so I wearily nod, give my address and remind him don't investigate me anymore in the future. Secretary Chris forces a smile. Clearly this isn't call. Seeing he doesn't reply, I understand we're all just working. After all, I won't make things harder for you. Back at my small apartment, I lie on the bed, recalling today's drama with Ethan. It's truly a roller coaster. When I first married him, I anticipated this day, but when it arrived, I realized it's not as easy as I thought. No, it's annoying. Why am I annoyed? Do I like Ethan? Of course not. So what's bothering me? I've moved out, made things clear now. I just need to sell my valuables on the secondhand market, travel, and be done. Isn't that delightful? Maybe I'll even meet a handsome guy on the way. Perfect, right? No need to worry about bumping into Ethan and Grace here. It's truly over the top. The next morning, I resolutely take all the valuables from Ethan's house to the secondhand market. Some items attract interest, but a few are too pricey, so I ask acquaintances to help sell them. After the hustle, seeing the bank account balance, I instantly feel blissful. This happiness is even more exhilarating than being held by Ethan in bed. Wait, why am I Thinking of him now, my phone notifies me of a new friend request. It's Linda. Does she miss me this much after what I said? She still wants to be friends. With the spirit of not refusing anyone, I accept Linda. Zoe, come back quickly, I've broadened my horizons. Turns out there are women even more cunning than you. When was I cunning? Linda, let's not talk about that. Don't you know the new transfer is beyond cure? CEO Ethan just returned from his trip and she's already making a move one way in front of men, another in front of us, clearly belittling me while pretending it's accidental. I count on my fingers. Today's only the first day Ethan returned to work, meaning it's just the first day. Grace started causing trouble in the can't she endure it? But I can't. I told you, if you like Ethan, act fast. Now it's too late. She's been snatched. Linda doesn't reply, but my phone quickly rings. I answer and she tells me to seduce CEO Ethan. Do I want to die? You don't know he came to the company today, his face cold as if wanting to hit someone. I went to his office to deliver documents and my legs were shaking. I'm at the company now. He probably saw the papers I left on his desk. Why hasn't he contacted me? Does signing that paper take so long? It's already Friday. Does he plan to drag it 2 more days? I'm lost in thought as Linda's voice fades only when she calls me a few times. Do I snap back? Are you listening? Yes. Didn't she spill coffee on herself and blamed you? Haven't you seen such tricks before? Is this even worth getting angry over? Linda gnashes her teeth. Who expect that cunning woman to target herself? Come back quickly. She's aiming for your position. The position she holds now is even more lucrative than being the CEO secretary. Her intentions are obvious. I reply indifferently. Anyway, if she can take that position, it's due to her own ability. If you want to compete, go ahead. What if Ethan notices you? Linda snorts. Why bother talking to you? You're not planning to come back anyway, are you? Of course not. I'm preparing to travel. If you still want to keep me in your friend list, don't blame me for sending you photos of my trip. Send away. Do you think I'll be jealous giving up such a high-paying job? Let's see how you regret it. I smile, saying nothing no matter what I say now. Linda won't admit she's envious of me. After listening to her complain more about Grace, I hang up. Seeing the 2-hour call history, I can't help but sigh. When we worked together, she always looked at me with disdain, but now that I've quit, our relationship has grown closer. Truly strange. The next morning, waking up to no messages or calls from Ethan, I feel puzzled. His first love has returned. Why no divorce? Without divorce, how can I travel? Not convenient to ask him directly. I cautiously ask Secretary Chris, has Ethan seen the divorce papers I left on his desk? Secretary Chris, I've seen them. Why hasn't he called you? Can Grace accept this? Secretary Chris, madam, what does this have to do with Grace? I click my tongue. Hasn't it? Divorce, wouldn't that leave things ambiguous with him? Suddenly, I want to enlighten Ethan about the severity of bigamy, but think better of it. Maybe Ethan has his own plans. Just as I'm waiting for his move, I hear shocking news. Waking up to messages from Ethan's company staff. Strangely all congratulations, I've quit. What's there to congratulate? Did I get into a big company? But soon I understand you married CEO Ethan. The words of Linda nearly make me throw my phone in the toilet. What are you saying? What's this about? A secret marriage? Suddenly public. CEO Ethan came to the company this morning wearing a ring and accidentally dropped the marriage registration right in front of the elevator. A staff member picked it up, glanced at it, and saw your wedding photo. This time I'm truly lost. What's wrong with Ethan bringing the marriage registration to the company? Where did that ring on his hand come from? We never bought wedding rings. I rushed to call Ethan to clarify, but hear Linda say, but to be honest, that cunning woman's face is darker than I. Exploded. But I don't care about Grace. How is she now? I just want to ask Ethan what he's up to. I hang up on Linda, immediately calling Ethan. He answers on the second ring. What's wrong with you? Why wear a wedding ring to work? Why keep the marriage registration in your pocket and dropping it in front of the elevator so everyone sees the photo? A low chuckle comes from his end. He can still laugh in this situation. It's just a coincidence. If anyone asks, say it's a coincidence. Coincidence, my foot. I'm so angry I can't speak smoothly. You're causing such a scene. Isn't Grace jealous, or did you fail to pursue her and are using this to v her? The line suddenly goes silent just as I think the signal dropped. Ethan speaks slowly. Between Grace and me, it's not what you think. Who dares to deny it? Anyone who knows Ethan's past knows his college romance. Anyway, resolve this quickly. I don't want to see you anymore. I hang up abruptly. Linda calls again, irritating me. I answer, did you and CEO Ethan really marry? All fake, right? I don't believe it. Thinking back to how I once mockingly called the legitimate wife cheap, I'm embarrassed. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I force a laugh. I told you it was fake. Wait a few more days and you'll see clearly. Linda doesn't believe me, but no matter what she says, I just reply, all fake. Everything's fake. After hanging up, I realize I haven't been as comfortable as I thought. I thought I could cut ties with Ethan, but it's not that simple. Realizing this, I'm even more determined to break free from him. I don't want a transactional marriage to affect me as expected. Grace initiates a meeting and I don't refuse. Honestly, I'm curious to see her now. Friends of Ethan once said Grace and I are completely different, but she was abroad then. No chance to meet. What do you want to discuss? I quietly observe her across the table, then take a sip of coffee. Indeed, she and I are opposites. Grace is like a gentle, pure house flower, while I, though not showy, exude a vibrant charm like a distant rose. No wonder people say they surprised. Ethan's taste changed after 3 years. She must know about me and Ethan, right? When will you divorce him? I know this isn't fair to you, but I truly want to be by his side and take care of him. I also heard you two didn't marry for love. My hand pauses. Not many people know this, so she heard it from Ethan. Their relationship must be closer than I thought. I mock myself. Jang Tyasa, do you know if he hasn't told you or if you misunderstood? But I've left the divorce papers on his desk. Why hasn't he signed? That's his business. I put the coffee cup down, looking at Grace's pale face, suddenly feeling at ease. Maybe he doesn't love you as you think. If he truly loved you, he'd have divorced me as soon as he knew you were returning. Grace forces a smile as if comforting herself. Perhaps he's been busy lately. I'll ask him. I can't stand her anymore. Pay the bill and leave. Passing by our usual bar, I hesitate but decide to go in. That night I drink heavily. Squatting by the roadside waiting for a cab, I subconsciously call Ethan. Must you torment me like this? The divorce papers are on your desk. Why won't you sign? What's left between us? Divorce and you can pursue. You're his first love. I'll enjoy my own life. The legitimate wife has returned. Why need a replacement? The line remains silent as usual. You're not a replacement. Many things aren't as they seem. Let me explain. But he stays silent. I hate this the most. You're a coward, tormenting all 3 of us. Ethan, you've disappointed me enough. Then wait another 2 years. I'll file for divorce directly. I immediately block all contact with him and leave in the cab. The next morning, waking from the hangover, my mind is blank, but recalling last night, my eyes sting. I wipe away tears, so I've been moved, hence the heartache, hence feeling wounded. Since then, Ethan hasn't contacted me. It's for the best. I've blocked him anyway, but Linda contacts me more often daily, pestering about Grace, saying she acts like his first love but is always frowned upon by Ethan. I both want and don't want to hear about their affair, but because Linda nags in my ear, I end up overhearing everything. Thanks for quitting, but still not really quitting. Once waking up at midnight to catch a breeze on the balcony, I saw a car with its lights on parked downstairs. Upon seeing it, I nearly gasped. It was Ethan. Though I saw him, I didn't go down. What's he thinking? Does he want both his first love and me? But life isn't that easy. I return to my room, lie down, but can't sleep. Finally, I unblock Secretary Chris on WeChat, messaging him to tell Ethan to leave. If he waits downstairs again, I'll move immediately. The next morning, I receive a reply from Secretary Chris. That evening, I no longer saw Ethan, but this can't continue. Ethan won't divorce. Should I just wait forever? I must proceed with my travel plans. I choose a favorite destination, start planning, book flights and accommodation. But just as I'm about to leave, Linda messages Grace was arrested by the police. I bolt upright in bed. What did she do? I briefly think of bigamy, but if that were the case, Ethan would be arrested, not her. I'm confused. Only Ethan can explain this. I must go to the company. Report to me what's happening. If you'd quit a month later, you could witness this live. Right? Worry about work. I hang up, debating whether to go to the police station, but don't know their exact location. So I decide to wait at home, anxious but unsure who to ask. Linda has no more info. Near evening, I unblock Ethan on WeChat, messaging, I've been a replacement long enough. Bring the divorce papers. We need to talk in person. The reply comes quickly. I'm on my way. Putting down the phone, I feel something's off. I tidy up, change clothes, but sitting down, I feel I'm overthinking this meeting. Finally, I switch back to casual wear. Just as I finish, a knock sounds. I open the door to see Ethan panting, clutching the divorce contract. I left it on your desk. Who said I was a replacement? If anyone's a replacement, it's she who replaced you. Zoe, from the start, I've never seen you as someone else. Could those rumors all be fabrications? I bite my lip, step back, open the door wider. Kane. Ethan follows, uncharacteristically cautious, even timid. He sits across from me, looking very busy lately. The divorce contract lies on the coffee table, signed only by me. I heard Grace was arrested by the police. Why did she steal company secrets and sell them to others? I'm surprised. I didn't think Grace would do that. She seemed to love Ethan. Seeing my disbelief, Ethan takes out his phone, playing a recording of his Conversation with Grace. Divorce Zoe, then marry me. I'll delete all the secrets I have, otherwise they'll be in our biggest rival's inbox in seconds. You've done this once before for money, this time for me. Grace's voice pauses, then says, yes, for you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have risked returning that year. You knew I did it but had no evidence, right? Same. Now you still have no evidence. I look at Ethan, seeing exhaustion on his face. I never heard of his company's secrets being leaked. When I joined, it was already strong. Ethan turns off the recording, rubbing his face with both hands as if preparing for a long time to speak. As she said, 5 years ago she just graduated and worked in my company for money. She sold secrets to rivals. When discovered, she fled abroad with the money, leaving the company in crisis. Without evidence, we could only grit our teeth and endure, but I never stopped searching for her. She was too good at hiding, so despite years of searching, there was no clue. 2 years ago, he suddenly noticed someone following him on social media, and rumors of his college romance unexpectedly spread. He guessed Grace was secretly watching him from abroad. Hearing this, I almost guessed the rest. That's why I married you, deliberately choosing someone with a completely different appearance from her, to make her feel that even after what she did, I still hadn't forgotten her so much that I loved and hated her, hence finding a replacement. Ethan looks at me. You're right. Not long ago she contacted me, believing that if she returned I'd let bygones be bygones. I used this chance to lure her back, to catch her in the act. It turns out everything was a trap set by Ethan and I was just a pawn. But unexpectedly, Ethan fell for his pawn this time. The secrets were deliberately leaked by him when she approached. Everything was arranged. He just had to bring her in. I nod, a smile tugging my lips. So your refusal to divorce was also to provoke Grace, making her slip up? Ethan looks at me with tender eyes, his voice slightly agitated. That's only part of the reason. More importantly, I truly don't want to divorce you, Zoe. I love you. I don't doubt Ethan's words. Whether someone likes another is evident, but I can't continue an unclear marriage just because of a prearranged scheme. Initially, I agreed to marry him willingly, thinking I wouldn't fall for him, but I overestimated myself. However, that doesn't mean I won't divorce. My marriage shouldn't start with deception. Moreover, if you'd planned this from the start, why didn't you tell me? Were you afraid I'd slip up? Ethan collapses, the once powerful businessman now looking like he's lost everything. I'm sorry, but Grace is highly cautious. I feared if I didn't catch her this time there'd be no chance left. I gently pat his shoulder. No need to apologize. After all, I came to you with impure motives too. You wanted to find her, and I wanted your wealth. In the end, we're both the same. We must divorce. I look him straight in the eye, nods slightly. I can't accept a transactional, deceptive marriage. Ethan sighed deeply. All right, I understand. The next day, I accompany Ethan to file for divorce. Looking around the office, off, perhaps we're the calmest couple here, so calm it doesn't seem like we're divorcing. Holding my divorce certificate, I turn to leave. Could we have another chance? I smile. Now we're both free. I have no right to stop you from pursuing anyone. This chance is created by you, not given by me. Take good care of yourself. I gently pat Ethan's shoulder, nod at Secretary Chris approaching, then decline his offer to drive me home. After 2 steps, I suddenly remember something, turn back and say, oh right, another thing, the gifts you gave me before. I've sold them all. Don't mind, do you? I stick out my tongue, feigning shyness. Ethan looks at me for a long while, finally, as if relieved of a burden, smiles faintly. Those were gifts to you. You have full rights to them. I don't mind. Good, I leave. Wish you a brilliant future. When we're counting everything to Linda, I'm on a train to Dolly. I ultimately chose the train to savor the slow pace of life. You really divorce? Oh, Ethan, don't regret giving up such a tycoon. Later, if you like, just try competing. I told you, if you like, pursue it. Forget it. Just looking at CEO Ethan's face gives me pressure. Hearing her nonsense, I laugh. Finally, Linda, sigh, I'm envious of you quitting and traveling freely. You should quit too. You think everyone's like you? I laugh, not responding over the phone. Linda's voice turned serious. Zoe, have fun. I'm stunned for a moment, then smiled gently. Got it. Half a month in Dolly. One morning, I suddenly hear someone call my name outside the window. Opening it, I see Ethan standing below, dressed simply, a light smile on his lips. I lean on the windowsill. What do you want? May I have the honor of inviting you for a walk? I can't help but laugh, my eyes brightening. Clearly eager to go down, I feign indifference. Oh, then I'll grant you that honor. Wait, down there, the marriage chapter has ended. What the future holds, who knows? Just enjoy the present.